Happy Wednesday, everyone. It's weather for Weather Geeks time, my daily web-only, in-depth weather video. I can talk for unlimited amounts of time in this video, and therefore I can definitely kind of dive into the weather a little more deeply. I try not to ramble on too long, though. Don't want to bore you. Of course, today is the day after our big severe weather day yesterday. Two confirmed tornadoes in our viewing area, one in Mahoning County, one in Mercer County. And we just wanted to review a little bit of tornado history across the region here briefly today. As far as Mahoning County, this was the first confirmed tornado, according to tornadohistoryproject.com. First confirmed tornado in the county since July 21st of 2003. You can pull up a map, actually, of where that was. This was an EF1 tornado back in 2003. As you can see, it was south of downtown Youngstown, not far from Indianola Avenue. Actually, assuming that this is absolutely correct, somewhere along Florida Avenue and Rush Boulevard. It appears that tornado back in 2003 occurred. And again, so that was Mahoning County. And we had one in 2001 back in April, 1999, 1995. You can see there were several confirmed tornadoes back in the 90s and a couple in the 80s as well. But this was the first one in 11 years in Mahoning County. As far as Mercer County, we did have a couple of tornadoes more recently in that county. We had one on June 6th, 2010, and also May 1st of 2007. So this was the first one in about 4 years in Mercer County, the one that touched down southwest of the borough of Mercer. Here's that EF0 tornado that occurred most recently back in 2010 on June 6th. Zoom out a little bit here, show you exactly where this was. This was south of Greenville, over in the western part of Mercer County back 4 years ago. So it's been a little while, particularly in Mahoning County, since we've had a confirmed tornado. A couple of radar images to show you here. Now, this, a little bit of controversy here with the tornado in Canfield. And this did not have a tornado warning with it, and a lot of people were upset about that, and I certainly understand why. As a reminder, chances are if you're watching this video, you're into the weather enough that you know this. But just as a reminder, the National Weather Service, the government entity, is responsible for issuing the official watches and warnings. We pass them along. We are the communication apparatus, if you will, but the official warnings do come out of the National Weather Service. Not every tornado that occurs in the U.S. has a warning on it. Most of them do, and certainly more do than did many years ago. The technology is advancing quickly, but we're not to the point yet where every single tornado is going to be warned officially ahead of time. Some of them are just hard to detect, and this one was hard to detect. Oftentimes when you're looking at radar, you're looking for a signature on the radar. You're looking for winds that are blowing away from the radar site and towards the radar site right next to each other, indicating there's some rotation going on. We did not see that with this Canfield tornado. What we're looking at here is the Doppler radar wind velocity product. There's no red or yellow next to green, but there is a spike in the wind speeds where I have the circle right here. There is definitely a spike, and that's where our tornado started, right along 224 west of Canfield. So there is a spike in the velocity, but not necessarily a tornado signature, if you will. And even this little spike here was only evident for one scan of the radar. So the National Weather Service had a real tough call here. This was an easy one for them to miss. The good news is, despite there being no official warning and no tornado sirens, there were no injuries reported out of this. Plenty of damage, unfortunately, and those people are going to have a tough cleanup effort, and we certainly feel for them. But thankfully, no reported injuries or fatalities out of this. So that's the Canfield situation. Now compare this to the Mercer County storm. Notice what we have going on here. This is a no-brainer. The National Weather Service and us here at WFMJ, we saw this on our radar products. This is a classic tornado signature here on the radar. You've got green, wind blowing this way, next to reds and yellows, the wind blowing north, and so you've got a counterclockwise circulation going on there. This was an easier one for the National Weather Service to detect, and that's why there was a tornado warning out for this storm over in Mercer. And of course, it was determined not to be an actual tornado in Jackson Center. It was straight line wind damage, a microburst, the wind rushing out of a thunderstorm, hitting the ground, and then spreading out. And you can see the officials are trained to look for the pattern that the damage is showing. And you can see in that pattern that it was a microburst. The wind rushed out, of the thunderstorm hit the ground and then spread horizontally, whereas in a tornado, it's a little more uh, disorganized perhaps, and there's evidence of swirls perhaps in the damage, whereas usually it's just the wind rushing out and thumping the ground and then spreading out in a microburst, and that's what happened over in Jackson Center. All right. As far as the present, we've talked long enough about the past. Let's move on and talk about today. Here's the radar and satellite as I record this at 2:30 this afternoon. The circled area out here is an area the National Weather Service is watching for maybe another severe thunderstorm watch this afternoon. They're not sure if they're going to issue it yet, but it would be east of our viewing area. At the very farthest west, it might clip parts of Mercer and Lawrence counties, but I doubt it. They're looking more at central PA, north central PA, southern tier of New York. For us, we've got kind of a turbulent-looking sky this afternoon. We've got some sun, but clouds are trying to build, and we've got a couple of showers that are firing off to the west. The atmosphere is just unstable enough to maybe produce a spotty shower, maybe a thunderstorm this afternoon. So if you have outdoor plans for after work, maybe towards evening, if it's your golf league night or whatever you're doing, I can't rule out that you get a quick shower. It's going to be quick, maybe even a downpour with it. I can't even rule out that there's some lightning and thunder at the end of the afternoon with any shower, but it's going to be brief and real spotty. Most of us are going to miss out on it. So that's the story as far as the precipitation goes. Now, it's gotten a little warmer than we expected today because I think there's been a little more sun than we counted on. So we're approaching 80, but the dew points are coming down. Dew points now are in the mid-50s. It's 60 at the highest. So it's not as humid today, and that's going to set the stage for a more comfortable night tonight and really nice weather coming up for the end of the week tomorrow and into Friday. So tomorrow, high pressure builds in. The center of that high is over here over Michigan. As we head towards Friday, the center of the high is almost right overhead. Should be a beautiful day on Friday, a little warmer. Heading into the weekend then, here's Saturday. I think we're still dry, but there is some moisture trying to approach from the west. Won't be here yet on Saturday, but I could see by Sunday some of us may get a little wet with this front slipping in. Front's in here somewhere midday on Sunday. I doubt it's a washout, but certainly a better chance to get wet on Sunday as compared to Saturday. And then we'll head into next week, and another front swinging through. This is a stronger one, probably a somewhat better chance to get wet during the day on Monday. Beyond that, next week, middle of the week, looking cooler than average. Check out the overall jet stream pattern here, middle of the week next week. This looks a lot like it did over the winter. Big ridge out here, big trough around the Great Lakes and Midwest. And since it's summer, it's not going to be cold outside, but it will be below average for at least a few days, middle of next week. Next week at about this time, next Wednesday, say, we may be as much as 7, 8, 9 degrees below average, and that would spell highs in the lower middle 70s. Nice, comfortable, but cooler than we should be during the middle of July. All right, that's weather for Weather Geeks. If I get some time this evening, I'm going to put a kind of a longer post-mortem post, if you will, on my weather blog, ericwfmj.com, talking about yesterday's tornadoes, a little history, and some stats and that sort of thing. So if I get some time this evening, I'll get that up. If not, I'll try to get it online tomorrow morning. So watch for that on my weather blog. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and check out my forecast tonight, 21 news at both 6 and 11. See you then.